Hey there, this is Kamal, and in this video we're going to see how we can host our website on Google Cloud Platform using Cloudways. So let's get this started. So this video is actually a continuation of the previous video in which we've already seen what Cloudways is and how it is different from other cloud hosting platforms. And also we have seen how we can set up an AWS server and deploy our project onto the server using GitHub. So in this video, we're going to iterate onto that and use the Google Cloud Platform. And also once we are done with the deployment process, we're going to see how we can automate that Git pull request so that whenever you make any changes in your repository, automatically those changes will also be applied to your project in the server as well. And for doing that, we're going to use webhooks which are present in GitHub. So without wasting any more time, let's jump into it. So this is our Cloudways dashboard, and this is the server that we had created in the previous video. So now let's create another server. So click on the plus button here, or you can also click on the plus button here. So I'm going to do that and add a server. Then you have to select your application. And for this video as well, I'm going to go with a PHP custom app. But if you want, you can go with a WordPress or a Laravel website as well. And also, if you want me to make a video on deployment on any of these applications, then let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll make sure to do that as well. So I'm going to go with the PHP custom app for now. Then you have to name your app. So I'll give it as, let's say, YouTube, and it's going to be GCP. Then the name of the managed server, it's going to be GCP again, and the project, and it's selected as YouTube. Then you have to select your server, and I'm going to go with Google Cloud Platform. And then you have to select the server size. And here as well, it starts from small with 1 shared CPU and 1.70 GB RAM, and goes till HC32 with 32 vCPU and 28 GB RAM. So I'm going to leave everything as it is with the default values, and I'll select the location for my server, and I'll go with Asia Pacific Mumbai. And here at the bottom, you're going to see the rate it's going to cost you. So it's going to cost you around $0.0602 hourly, and also it's going to cost you $43.34 monthly. So once you're done selecting everything and it's okay, then you can click on launch now. So as you can see here, it's adding this server, and this is going to take some time. You have to wait for a bit. So I'll see you once this is done. Okay, so we're done with that, and it took me around 5 to 10 minutes for it to get set up. And once we have that, you're going to have your servers here and your applications here. So if you want, you can go to your applications directly. So these are the applications that we had created. But for now, let's go to the server and see what are the configurations that we're going to get with this. So these are my master credentials, so I can use these to log into my server using the SSH. So this is my public IP, username and password. And also you can add your own SSH public keys as well. And the other option is that you can launch the terminal directly from here. So you don't need to open your terminal inside your software itself. You can directly do it from the browser as well. So you have to click on that. And then you have to go to advanced and click on accept the risk and continue. And that's going to open the shell. So you can, use your username and password and log into this, and you have access to your server from the browser as well. So you can do that. And apart from that, the main thing is that if you go to manage services, as you can see here, you have access to Apache and Nginx, and also Mysql has been installed. So everything related to a basic PHP website have been installed perfectly. So you don't need to configure anything. You can just directly upload your file. And if you have your database as well, you can just, change the username and password for your database, and then everything will be set up and your website will be live in seconds. And apart from that, you can also change the settings for individual packages. So you can change the execution limit, the upload size, and the memory limit for all the applications or the files that you're going to upload. And apart from that, you can also do some other changes here. And then the main thing is that if you go to Smtp, in here you can configure your email client. So if you select this, then you can use your own SMTP. So if you have your email services like Mailgun or SendGrid or Auth SMTP, you can use that. Or you can use the SMTP provided by them as well. You can use the Elastic Email. That's an add-on which is being provided by Cloudways. So if you go to the add-on section, so these are the add-ons which are provided by Cloudways. Apart from Elastic Email, Cloudways CDN is by default enabled. So that is going to route your traffic through a CDN so that it's more secure. And also if you want, you can, enable the Elastic Email as well. But since this is not free, you have to pay for that first. So you have to select the price or the number of emails that you're going to send. Accordingly, you have to pay that and you have to subscribe. So if you want that, you can do that as well. So those are the basic settings for your server. So now let's go to the applications. And let's go to the YouTube GCP. That's the application that we had created just now. So these are my access details. So this is the application URL. So if you click on this, it's gonna direct you to the website. And this is the basic template that is being shown to you right now. So if you want to access your database, you can do that from here. You can click on Launch Database Manager, and that's going to open your Mysql Database Manager. So here you can open the SQL command. If you want to execute any queries, you can type in the raw query and click on execute. And also you can import and export the tables. And apart from that, you can also create the tables using the visual interface as well. So that's another option that you can use. So now let's go back, and here you also have the application credentials. So here as well, you can create a username and password. So let's quickly do that. Then you can click on add. So the main difference between these application credentials and the credentials given to you in the server section is the fact that when you use these application credentials, you're going to go to the root of the application. And when you use the credentials given in the servers, you're going to go to the root of the whole server. So if you have multiple applications inside your server, then you can use individual username and password for each and every application as well. So if you want to know more about these things, I've explained that in the previous video, so go check that out. So apart from this application credentials, you also have the domain management. So if you want, you can, link your domain as well. So you have to buy a domain first, then you have to enter your domain name and click on Save Changes. And also you have to go to the domain provider, and there you have to add an A record. And if you want to know how to do that, I'll link a blog in the description down below. You can go there and check that out. It's the official documentation given by Cloudways. There they have explained in detail how you can, add that A record to make it so that that domain is pointing to your Cloudways hosting. Apart from that, you can create cron jobs, and Ssl certificate is given as well. So by default, let's encrypt SSL is given to you. So you can install that, and it's free. So you have to enter your email and domain name, and you have to click on install certificate. And the main thing is that if you go to application settings, if you want to have SSH access through your local terminal, you have to first enable that access from this setting. So you have to click on that and make sure that it is enabled. And once that is enabled, you can access your server from your terminal as well. So now to actually deploy your website onto the server, there's actually 3 ways of doing this. The first one is to use an FTP client. So let's say you have an FTP client, let's say like FileZilla. You can open that. And in here, for the host name, username, and password, you can give in these details. So your public IP address is your host name, your username is the same, and the password is this. You have to copy and paste it here. And also you can give the port as 21 and then click on Quick Connect. And once you're done with that, then all of your files will be shown here. So you can drag and drop any of your project files that you want into your server. So that's one way of doing this. The second way is to use your SSH link and access your server directly. So let me quickly show that to you as well. So let's open the terminal. And if you're on a Windows system, you can open your Windows PowerShell. Then you have to type in SSH, then the username, and mine is Kamal in this case, @ then you have to copy your IP address and paste it after the @ and click on enter. Then it's going to ask for your confirmation. You have to type in yes, and then you have to type in your password. Then you'll be connected to your server directly. So right now this public_html is a folder which contains the index.php file that you're seeing right now on your website. So inside this public_html, you can directly place your files. So let's say your project is hosted on GitHub. You can go to the repository where it is hosted, then click on code and copy the HTTPS link for this. I'm going to click on copy, then go to your terminal, and then you can type in git clone and the URL of your repository. And if you click on enter, that's going to get cloned into your public_html. So that's the second way of doing this. And the third and the easiest way is to actually connect your GitHub repository directly to your Cloudways hosting. So now you can click on deployment via Git. In here, you have to first generate an SSH key. So I'm going to click on generate SSH key. And once it has been generated, you have to click on view SSH key. So this is mine. I'll click on this to get it copied. Then you have to go to your GitHub account and you have to go to your settings. So I'll go to mine. And in here, you have to go to the SSH and GPG keys. There you have to click on new SSH key and you have to add your SSH key here. So I'll paste it here and you have to give it title GCP and add it. And once it has been added, you have to go back to your repository. And this time, instead of copying the HTTPS URL, you have to copy the SSH remote key. So you have to click on copy, then go back to your Cloudways account And in here, you have to paste it here. So this is your Git remote address. So this is currently linking to your Git repository. Okay, so then once you're done with that, you have to click on authenticate. And once it has been authenticated, automatically the branch master will be selected. And also it's going to show you the deployment path of where the files will be cloned. And by default, public_HTML is selected. And that if you want, you can create a subdirectory as well. I'll leave it as it is and I'll click on start deployment. And once it's done deployment, then it's going to show you two options. The first one is going to be the pull. Second one is going to be remove. So whenever you make any changes in your repository, you have to click on pull to make that changes be applied to your project in your server as well. So now if you go to your domain once again and refresh the page, so as you can see here, the default template has been replaced with our project files. So now the main problem is that whenever you make any changes in your Git repository, you have to go back to your server and you have to click on pull each and every time. So that's the main problem. And this is what we had already faced in the previous video as well. So to overcome that, what we're going to do is that we're going to automate this process of clicking on that pull button. The way that we actually do that is that we're going to use the webhooks which are currently available in GitHub. So if you go to your GitHub repository and then go to settings, here as you can see, you have the option called as webhooks. And I already have a webhook. So this is the one that I was testing on. So let's delete that. So to actually create a webhook, you can click on add webhook. And in here, you have to give in two parameters. The first one is going to be the payload URL and the second one is going to be the content type. You can leave the content type as it is. So the only thing that you have to worry about is the payload URL. So you have to first generate that payload URL. So to do that, there's an article given by Cloudways on their official documentation. In that, they've already listed out how we can do this. So let me show that to you as well. And also I'll link this article in the description down below. You can go there and check that out for yourself. So the first thing is that you have to go to your Cloudways account and that you have to go to your API section. So you can click on this and go to API. And here you will have the option to generate your API key. But since I've already done that, mine is already created. Once you're done generating that, what you have to do is that you have to go to the documentation once again, scroll down a bit. And in here for the step 2, they have given a bit of code. So click on view raw and copy everything that is being shown here. Once you're done with that, open your terminal where we have connected to our server. And if you list out the directory right now, so these are the 3 files that we had actually got from cloning the repository from the GitHub account. So what you have to do is that you have to create a file in this. So the command for creating a file is that it's going to be touch, then the name of the file. So I'm going to name my file as git auto deploy.php. So you have to make sure that it's a PHP file. Then you can click on enter. And if you list it out once again, as you can see here, that file has been created. Now you have to open that file and add that code that we had just copied. Well, the thing is that since we are accessing the server from the terminal, we can't use some visual editors like Visual Studio Code or Sublime Text or Atom. So you have to use a command line editor as well for that. So I'm going to use nano for this. So type in nano space the file name and click on enter. Then enter once again. And in here you have to paste everything that you had just copied and go to the top of the file. And here where it's showing you your API key, you have to paste your API key. So let's go back and copy the API key that was generated. And here let's paste that. So I'm going to remove this text and paste it here. Then go down and remove this and type in your email address. Then click on Ctrl O to actually save that file. Then click on Ctrl X to exit out of it. So now that the file and the code has been added, what you have to do is that you have to go to the webhook once again. That is the repository. And in the settings, you have the webhook, right? You have to go there. And in the payload, what you have to do is that you have to copy and paste your domain. So this is my project, this is my domain. So I'll copy this address, then go to the payload URL, paste that address, and after the ending slash, you have to give the file name that you had just created. So mine was named as git auto deploy.php. So I'll type that file name and leave everything as it is, and I'll click on add webhook. Then that webhook will be added to your Git repository, and you're done with that. So whenever you make any changes in your Git repository, automatically those changes will also be applied to your project in your server as well. So now you might be wondering why we have to use Cloudways when we can directly use AWS or GCP or DigitalOcean directly. So the simple answer is that if you want to have all the benefits of a cloud hosting service, and if you want to make it so that your website can be upscaled or downscaled at ease without you having to deal with any of the technicalities involved in creating and managing a server, then Cloudways is one of the solutions that you can opt to when you're trying to deploy or host your website. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you like what I've seen till now. If you did, then please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe as well. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.